call the meeting to order. Let's go ahead and do the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can we do the invocation?
Father in heaven, bless us as we gather today for this meeting. Teach us to be generous in our outlook, courageous in the face of difficulty, and wise in our decisions. We ask this through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Let's go the workshop to order.
Yes, Chairman, Directors, the first item on your workshop agenda is review the quarterly investment report for the period ending June 30th, 2024. We forgot the insert under the workshop item, but if you go to item 2D, tab 2D in your packet, it's the report for the quarterly investment. I'll go over that. Should be an insert under item 2D. So this quarter, the investment disbursements total $19,431,205, and it consisted of project activities in the amount of $16,229,921, and semi-bond interest payments in the amount of $3,211,284. Other sources included internal transfers totaling $1,620,338, and then contribution or reimbursement from TxDOT in the amount of $9,759,314. And then the interest earned for this quarter from our investment was $2,395,545, almost $2.4 million. The breakdown for the interest was through our local government investment pool, where our weighted average yield was 5.43%, and government securities where our weighted average yield was 5.0%. And again, the aggregate for our investments, the aggregate yield for our investments was $2,395,545.
You may just want to remind them that our note is significantly less, so we're earning significantly more than our interest that we're paying on our note.
Yes, sir, Chairman.
Are there any questions in regard to the to the quarterly investment report?
No.
If not,
If you don't mind, Chairman, I have one question. If you don't mind, what's the best way, a better understanding? Who would I need to be able to sit down with and go over this?
Joe Castillo, our
Okay.
chief financial officer,
Okay.
can go over the investments.
Fantastic.
So we actually have two investments, like I said, the local government pool, and then we've got our investments. We've got an investment manager. We use Hilltop Securities to manage our investments, and so those are the two mechanisms we're utilizing right now.
Just have a better understanding.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
we can set up a Teams call, a virtual call, and Joe can explain the process.
It might be better in person.
Yeah, or in person, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but we hold on to our investments as tight as we can, and
Absolutely.
we try not to cash them out, so we can maximize our yields,
Absolutely. Thank you.
our returns. Yes. Chairman, that's all we have for the workshop.
okay, let's go ahead and make I don't need a motion to adjourn the workshop.
No, sir.
Okay, let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. So we've got a quorum present.
Yes, sir. You do have quorum.
Okay, all members present.
You have 4 members present in person, Chairman, and you are virtual. So you do have quorum.
Let's go ahead and go over the reports, please. On the report A, report on management activity for 365 Tollway.
Yes, sir. Ramon Navarro is going to give you a brief report on program management and construction activity.
Good afternoon, Chairman, Directors.
I am Ramon Navarro, for the record, Chief Construction Engineer for the Hidalgo County Regional Mobility Authority. Here to present a couple of reports to you as far as the development activity. There's not really a lot going on. We will be receiving some updates on thoroughfare plans at the MPO next week, and I'll be happy to share that information as far as the rules and regulations that the new legislation has impacted that with. And we'll share that when it becomes available, and I do a little homework and study on that. And we'll jump straight. Here is the overall loop. I know there was some inquiries on the section F, so we will be displaying this in our reports now. And the overall original county loop did include a section F that was goes north south right around the county line area. With that being said, we jump into, as I said, the oversized, overweight permits. For the month, our accumulated total from the original conception of the project in 2014 to June of 2024, we've issued 354,726 permits, collected $63,022,998. With the distribution of the monies, they're displayed for the year of, come on now, for the year of 2024, we've issued 40,019 permits, collected $8,178,436. As far as the RMA's share, we've collected approximately a little over $1 million. There has been a decline this month. We experienced the annual seasonal decline a little early this year. As far as permits issued for the month of June, we had a decrease of 119 permits, or 1.9%. This was anticipated, or is the usual trend that we see. However, it came a month early this year, and we will be monitoring the situation to assure that the pattern and regular routines are followed as far as the income that we're receiving, and the permit counts stay consistent. That concludes the development report. May I entertain any questions or concerns anyone may have on 1A?
Any questions or concerns? If not, let's proceed to report construction activity for the 365 tollway project.
Chairman, this is Pilar. Just a quick comment on the overweight permits. We saw a decline in permits. Usually at the end of July is when we start to see them decline because of the growing season. So we're not real sure if the growing season ended a little early this year because of the drought. But so it was about 30 days earlier than it historically has been. And so we think that's what it is, but once we get the July numbers, we'll be able to pinpoint that down and look at the commodities that are coming across.
Going into 1B, the construction report. We, once again, the loop, in conjunction with our 365 heavy highway project, we are also constructing the toll collection system integration project. This goes hand in hand with the heavy highway project, and HDR does administer this project. We are inspecting with in-house inspectors and with our forces. But just noting that. Going on to the construction, notice to proceed was issued on the 365 project in March of February 15th, 2022. Time charges commenced March 17th of 2022, with 1,264 calendar days to complete this project. Is substantial, with 4 holidays. And come on, there we go. Okay, as of this month, on July 9th, we have issued 13 change orders. They tally up to still a negative $9,080,135.16. We say, how can we still be ahead on the credit? We had a savings up front of $14,000 on change order 2, so we're still ahead slightly on the on the overall dividends of change orders from the 14 million. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, 14 million. Okay, 14 million. And the overall deducts have been tallied up to approximately $5,061,325.84. So we still have a credit in that aspect of the change orders. Each change order does have a summary beneath them. Is there any questions on any of these change orders that we have issued to date?
The change orders really, we're still on task with the original budget, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, moving into the construction aspect of the project, we continue on with the submittals, RFIs. We've had 192 RFIs, requests for information. We've had 183 submittals, which are shop drawings and materials, et cetera, that we review for acceptance and compliance with specifications. We continue to test the levees, the drill shafts, roadway, of course, the irrigation structures, MSE back walls. Our backfill has been suspended, as well as the CRCP. The CRCP, those are the suspensions we issued last month. As of Friday, we did lift the CRCP suspension. We conducted 2 night pours on Friday and Saturday with disappointing results. Machines are being fine-tuned, and we hope to get some progress tonight with a small pour to make sure the machines are all adjusted accordingly, and we'll see how well Mother Nature allows us to work for the remainder of the week. But that is where we stand as far as the suspension on the CRCP, or the continuously reinforced concrete paving. As far as the retaining walls, we are in discussions as far as the materials they will be using. There are some monetary values that we're evaluating and discussing, that we have a meeting scheduled for Friday to go over these formalities. I know that there was a letter that went out to the chairman as far as some discrepancies on pay items as far as the levy is concerned. We are going to issue, for some reason, the burden of proof is on us. However, they're utilizing our numbers to come up with the quantities and the control. But we will be conducting a quality assurance survey. This is coming up later on in the agenda, to be able to substantiate the grades and profiles that have been built and confirm that they are built to plan. And any discrepancies will provide cross sections, and we'll be able to quantify in full all of the embankment and the excavation materials to be able to rebuttal the letter with appropriate proof and evidence. Other than that, as far as payment is concerned, we maintain the 17% delta with the 45% production on the production rates. And I believe and 68% of the time used. There on the bottom, you'll see for Director Williamson, the amount posted in without MOH, which is the $103,579. If you go on to the next sheet, you'll see the accumulated totals with a measly $2 million production in the month of June. Of course, we did have the suspensions in place, which means they could not work on the MSC walls or the concrete paving. We had a 0.7%, 76 tenths of a production rate for last month. And we hope to bring that much improvement to next month's, if we do get to lift the MSE wall suspension.
You said that you had some disappointing results. Can we discuss those results?
On the CRCP, sir?
Yes.
Yes, we, as far as the quality and the control of shipments of delivery and concrete, there was untimeliness, which causes the paver to stop and needs to be consistently producing and laying concrete. In addition to that, the slump that we lay the concrete at is maxed out at a 3%, 3.5%. It hardens, stiffens really quickly. We had anywhere from 45 to 50-minute delays between trucks, which makes it really hard to work. And secondly, we were out there for the first 2 hours. We started our train at 8 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, we only received 50 cubic yards, which is 2 trucks of concrete because there was issues at the batch plant. About 11 o'clock, these issues were straightened up and production commenced again. The tining, the finishing of the product is not desirable. It's meeting minimal specifications, not something that we would want to nothing to brag about or boast about. And the Friday night, we received about 5 shipments of the concrete that were too wet, which caused an issue with the machine pouring in. We set them aside. One of 5 were set aside for until they met the slump requirements of a 3. We placed them into the machine, poured them out, and we've got some poor results as far as the mechanisms or the workmanship of the products. I believe I have some photos of these are the bents, the riprap sections. We continue putting in infrastructure in the ground as far as pipes, irrigation structures. We continue with the drill shafts and working the line treatment and the subgrades for cement treated base. I do not have a picture of the concrete treatment as we just had those yesterday and before, but there are very disappointing results. We have conveyed that concern to the contractor, and as mentioned, we are pouring again a small test trial section this evening to make sure that everything is in sync and everything is in accordance to our desires on the workmanship.
Ramon,
Are they taking responsibility for that?
Yes, sir, they are. They're planning to remove some of the really bad sections. I would like them to remove all of it. But like we said, we're in discussions, and hopefully Friday we can bring all of this to light, sir.
I mean, I think if you guys aren't happy with the results, they need to honor your request to remove it all.
Yes, sir.
that was my question.
Okay.
Who's the concrete supplier?
Concrete supplier, the Dragados, they're supplying their own concrete, sir.
I think that's an issue we need to address, and I think it should be a written response from our attorney. Tell them that we want it all removed, 1, and then 2, they've got to be more. They got to own the issue that they're having with their concrete supplier.
Yes, sir.
Chairman, this is Pilar. I have a meeting with the president of Polis Friday morning to discuss these issues that we have on the project. So I'll be meeting with him Friday morning at 7:30.
But I really think these are bonding issues that we need to address today, right? Because at the way they're going and the way they're taking care or handling this situation is not desirable.
Yes, sir. We will discuss that with Mr. Jimenez on Friday. Any other questions or concerns? Thank you for your time.
Okay. With that, we go through the consent agenda.
Yes, sir. Item number 2, consent agenda. All matters listed in the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the governing body and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. However, if discussion is desired, that item or items will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. Chairman, directors, we're recommending that you approve the consent agenda with the exception of item 2C, which is the financial reports for June of 2024. They have not been completed for submittal and approval by the board, and we'll have those at the August meeting. So we recommend approval of consent with the exception of item 2C.
Can I get a motion for approval of consent with the exception of item C?
Director, to answer your question, yeah, our bookkeeper, which is City of Pharr, is a little bit behind right now. So
This is the first time that's happened, or is it?
no, sir, it's happened before.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So I believe there's a request for a motion in a second from the
I got a
chairman.
motion. Yeah.
Yep, send agenda.
Second?
Motion is a second. That was motion by Frank and a second by Carlos. Is that correct?
Williamson?
Oh, Mr. Williamson. Sorry, Mike. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now we go to item 3A, resolution of 2024-36, consideration and approval of work authorization 5, professional
Yes,
service
sir.
agreement.
Yes, sir. This is a professional service agreement with Quintanilla Headley and Associates to provide surveying services for the 365 tollway. Now that we're about 40% in, we need to start taking as-bills of what's been built, what's in place. If you recall from the last board meeting, we have a dispute with Polis right now on quantities that are in place. It's about a $5 million dispute where they're claiming they've got $5 million more of production than our staff in the field has been able to verify. And so we're having a third party come in, and it's primarily earthwork. It's excavation and embankment. It's where we're cutting and we're filling. And so we're going to have the surveyor come in and take cross sections of all that to verify the in-place quantities so we can put that $5 million issue to bed. And on top of that, they're going to be tying down improvements that are already in place to provide for as-built. And if you don't know what as-built are the final elevations, final horizontal, vertical location, final quantities. And so we're going to start that process of everything that's been built and accepted. We're going to tie it down for our permanent records. So the work authorization number 5 is in the amount of $80,220, and staff is recommending approval.
Is this Mr. Alfonso Quintanilla?
Alfonso Quintanilla.
I abstain from voting on this.
Yes, sir. And the reason we have just for clarification, we have a pool of surveyors on contract with the authority already, and so we rotate through that pool. Alfonso has already done work in this area, and so that's why we're utilizing, because he's already got a lot of the datum and information. So he was able to give us a better level of effort, on the work authorization.
So Pilar, is there a time period for the deliberation of that 5 million?
There is no time period. There is an escalation clause in the contract where they can escalate, and it's really the dispute is with the subcontractor, which is IOC. They're claiming that they've put more in the ground than we're able to verify in the field, and so we need to get that tied down and put to bed. Polis is taking the position. They're at this point it's kind of passed through from Polis's perspective, because they're saying, well, my sub said he did this work, and I'm submitting it for payment, and we're disputing that work is in place.
So let's assume that we can't settle on that 5 million. What's the next step?
So there is escalation, and I believe there is arbitration, mediation or arbitration in the contract. But staff recommends approval in the amount of $80,220.
Are there any questions? I'm not going to get a motion for approval.
So move.
Got a motion? Going to get a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Resolution 2024-37.
Yes, sir. This is a consideration and approval of the contract amendment number 9 to the professional service agreement with Quintanilla Headley and Associates to increase the maximum payable amount for work authorization number 5. That's just to increase their contract amount by the work authorization you just approved. So their contract amount is currently at $972,885. If you add in the $80,220 you just approved, their maximum payable amount now increases to $1,053,105. Staff recommends approval.
Are there any questions? If not, could I get a motion for approval?
Motion for approval.
I got a motion. Could I get a second?
You have a second, Chairman?
A second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries.
Chairman and Directors, we have no further business for the board's consideration.
Okay, being no further business, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Second.
And a motion, can I get a second?
Second. Michael?
Pilar, if you need to see me on Friday, I'm glad to go with you if you need my help.
Yes, sir. I'll coordinate with you tomorrow, Chairman.
Thank you. Meeting's adjourned.